everyone, it's Karissa from Shining Light on Minnesota. I'm super excited. I have Noah here from All Roofing. Welcome, Noah.
Hi, yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So let's get started and kind of tell everybody how you got into the roofing business and kind of where you're at today.
Yep, so actually we were just talking just before the camera started rolling about, how we got introduced. And my sister, Morgan Molitor from Construction to Style, about 6 years ago now, I was going to actually go work for her.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned mentors.
Yep.
Ended up, so I'm in recovery.
Yep.
I'm in AA.
Yep.
And got introduced to this guy kind of through an answered prayer.
Yeah.
And ended up working like step work with this guy for like 10 months.
Amazing.
And over those 10 months, like I just was like, I just felt like God was guiding me to go do whatever this guy was doing, and that guy was doing roofing.
Amazing.
And so I just, just kind of went all in on that. Didn't really know anything about roofing 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Still to this day get made fun of for how I swing a hammer. And so
everybody's got their own way to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so,
but my gift is people.
Yeah.
And so I just leaned into that, and talked to my sister. I was like, hey, hate to back out, but I just feel like I'm being led this other way.
Yeah.
And she totally understood, and she's like, go chase your dreams.
Yeah.
And roofing just completely transformed my life.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, when that time was, I was literally hitting the reset button at 35 years old.
Yep.
I was living in my mother's basement, and that was like where I was at. And now I own 2 businesses.
Yeah. I
got a wife. I got, 3 kids, 3 daughters, a son on the way.
Amazing. Congratulations.
And but Owl Roofing is brand new at the beginning of this year. And it's been an absolute whirlwind, but also been extremely exciting, just with the traction we've gotten so far.
For sure. I mean, I know I've heard about it in the last year more so now than not, and it's getting out there. It's getting your name out there and just saying, hey, we're here, we're making a difference, and we're growing and expanding. Yep. What's your service area? Where all do you guys cover? Yeah,
so we're getting hyper local on Shoreview. So we are right off County Road E in Lexington.
Yep.
And we're gonna Northeast Metro. My partner Tim Brown, he's got this saying. He says, "Let's become 5 Mile famous." Yeah. Which is awesome for service industry people.
Yep.
And obviously the roofing industry is known for storm restoration, door knocking, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's still going to be part of what we do because it's what I've been doing for the last 5 years with this previous company.
Right.
And so it would be silly not to lean into insurance restoration, not to do door knocking. But with Owl Roofing, we're going to get super focused on Shoreview, North Oaks, Roseville, Vadnais Heights, all the areas, Mounds View. We're partnering with a nonprofit, Quincy House, which is an after-school care program for students at Mounds View High School and Irondale High School. And so we're just getting super niche, focused in on the community.
Nice.
And so far that's been showing some big returns and people reaching out, even though we've only been in business since January technically of this year. People from here locally are already reaching out. They're seeing our social media.
Amazing.
And leads are coming in, so that's super exciting.
What has been one of the challenges that you've overcome since January that are okay, we're doing this, we're going to make it, we're going to learn from our mistakes, but we're going to also move forward and grow with it?
Yeah, so I mean, probably the biggest things is my partner Tim's wife Bia, who does a lot of our behind the scenes, book work and paperwork and getting us all in line with the state of Minnesota and stuff like that.
All the licensing and the fun stuff.
Oh my God. Right. So we joke around about how we found out when registering this business, and they have this other business, Hook Agency, which is a big part of what we do. But we found out it's just so frustrating with all the paperwork and all the, and just so many things like that. So, and they jokingly say we honestly believe this is the number one reason why more people aren't in business is because of all the hurdles and jumps and hoops you got to jump through.
Trying to become a small business in the state and everything else.
Oh my God.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So that's been that's been probably the biggest hurdle. That and just getting licensed. I had to take my general contractor's exam in December.
Yep.
Then finding general liability insurance for a brand new roofing company.
Yes.
I guess that's hard right now. Took us 2.5 months just to find a decent rate.
Right. Oh,
that was like, okay, we're not going to pay $55,000 for general
well, at least
liability
you're here and not in
insurance.
Florida where you can't even get insurance these days. Yeah.
Exactly. So I mean, those are the biggest hurdles, but what did we do overcome? I mean, we just did what we had to do.
Yeah.
We sought counsel from other business owners, even ones in the roofing industry, even my past employers, to ask hey, is this in line with what you guys saw? And luckily they've been more than generous to tell us, give us some information and be like, yeah, that's actually how it is. Or no, I would look over here, talk to these people. So yeah, I mean, just leaning on, and that's in any business. You can't do it alone.
No,
you got to do it with your business partners. You got to do it with your, your salespeople, your clients, and other people in the industry, whether they're your competitor or not. And that's why I love the building industry is your direct competitors will help you overcome some of those things so you don't have to learn the hard way like they did.
Yeah, I know that especially in the roofing business and the siding business and a lot of the construction businesses, it's a whole group on its own. They have their own circle, they'll do their own masterminds, they'll figure out things together, and they want to help. They want to mentor and they want to help because there's enough work for everybody to go around. Yeah. Especially within a 5-mile radius or just getting your foot out there and trying to figure out how it's going to work for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you have a pretty good, surrounding around you. What has been, one or who have been some of your biggest mentors?
Yeah, biggest mentors for me have been, so I was saying 5-6 years ago, I got introduced to this guy. His name's Ray Hansen. He was the guy who I worked for previously.
Nice.
So he owns Bison Builders. Wonderful. And he's the guy that completely transformed my life, from a personal standpoint, just spiritual leader. He, taught me a ton about business, taught me a ton about sales, stuff like that. So he's been probably my biggest, advocate and supporter. Another one is this guy who lives right next to my mom.
Yeah.
His name's Joe DeZiel. He's been big as well. He's the guy who invited me to church that kind of initially was the nudges that led me to the Lord.
Yep.
Other ones, my new business partner, Tim Brown.
Yep.
So Tim Brown, owner of All Roofing, obviously, but he also owns this big marketing company that markets niche markets for roofers and HVAC home service. So it's called Hook Agency.
Yep,
and
I'm very familiar with that too.
Tim is a marketing, I knew he was smart and I knew he was a sharp guy.
Yep.
But until you're actually partners with him and seeing what he truly does behind the scenes, you're like, holy crap. Because I'm a marketing guy too. I got a small marketing company with my sister, Neon Line Media, but this Tim is he's a genius.
Yeah, they did some of their podcasts. They hosted a couple of their podcasts actually here in the
beginning.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so just all the things. So that's another thing.
Yep.
We're doing this Protect Your Nest or Best for Your Nest podcast with my wife Anya and his wife Bia.
Amazing.
So just all these little things to get just niched into these communities and to raise up other people like you're doing here, raise up other people in the community.
It's one of those things that's always trying to find the next, right? I know when I started the podcast, I've been doing it for 3 years now. Everybody's like, why are you doing it? I'm like, well, it's one, intentionality. I'm getting to know people on a deeper level, but it's also my way to give back too. I'm getting to know you, letting people hear your story. We're sharing it out there. But for me, I mean, as an added bonus, I want to know people's story. I care enough to help out. I want to make a difference in people's lives. I don't just want to be one of those numbers where everybody's like, hey, you're the sun control girl. I'm like, no, I want to know how your kids are. I want to know what cool things you have going on. Yeah. And just be a person, not just a number like everybody else.
Yeah.
So,
100%.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah. So Best for Your Nest. It's my wife, Anya Bergland, and then Bia Bonte, Tim's wife. Yeah. And basically, so our main focus, so the one thing that we always felt like roofers are trying to do is impress other roofers.
Yeah, it's a
builders do the same thing. Yes. It's a competition.
You're getting online, you're seeing where they're at.
How can we look cool and how can we be impressive? But they think they're trying to impress the client, but really what I believe is they're trying to impress each other.
Oh yeah.
So what we're doing is nothing's more impressive to other guys than stuffed animals.
Absolutely.
So we are focused more on the female
Yeah.
and the wife.
Yeah.
And, obviously all the good wives make the husbands feel like they make the decisions,
They
but
lift them up.
in reality, we all know who's making the actual decision
Absolutely.
behind the scenes. So we're trying to market to them.
Yeah.
And just some fun things we're doing is like these stuffed owls.
Yeah,
It's something fun, it's something memorable, it's branded.
To stand out.
So the type of people, the guests we're bringing onto these podcasts are strong, influential women from the community.
Yep.
And they've, like, our first guest was Tammy Moberg, who's big in the community. She's the one who started Quincy House, the nonprofit that we're partnering with. Couple other, Kristen Pavelka, Hillary Josie, a couple other, moms, business owners from like North Oaks, Shoreview area.
Yeah.
And so like, one, bringing them on, promoting their businesses, promoting what they do,
For sure.
just promoting them in general. And, our hopes are, that we get them some business, obviously get us some business. We lift each other up. We both get, known in the community, just like this. Like,
for sure.
I tint all my windows and I come in here, I'm like, oh, okay, now I know where I'm going for
now I know where I'm
my
going.
tinted,
It's being intentional, but it's letting people know everything that you do, but it's also just, I want to hone in. I want to get to know you too.
Yeah. And it's been fun. We've aired one. So the one with Tammy Moberg's already aired.
Oh, amazing.
Just recorded our fourth one, and we'll just be consistently, pushing out reels, pushing out the podcasts on YouTube. Probably very similar to,
and I think that's the hardest thing that people don't understand. I know I've talked about it a lot on my podcast, but the editing, everything that goes into it.
Oh my God.
Hosting people, the lighting, the sound. I mean, for a while I was doing it all on my own, and it's just grind after grind. It's like, okay, I got to make sure the lighting's on, the sound's on, these are on, the mics are on, everything's on. And then the behind the scenes editing, and then getting it posted in a timely manner, uploaded, downloaded, all the things, right? Yeah.
100%.
It's a lot. So you have a lot of stuff going on, and I know, what do you guys like doing outside of work?
Outside of work, so traveling. So both me and my wife, Tim and his wife, big travelers. Morgan and Jamie, big travelers. And so, I mean, traveling's probably the number one.
Right.
We all have families. That's actually how me and Tim met. We met at a child birthing education class. And then the funny part is he actually used to work with my sister, Morgan, at Snap. So there's just a lot of...
It's a lot of small circle, like where everybody's knowing everybody, and it's like, okay, this all just kind of comes back to one. Yeah.
So it was this class that kind of brought this whole thing together. And then... the class brought us together, which obviously the kids tied into that. So we got his Junie and our Gigi that are, a week apart.
Amazing.
And then we've both had more kids since then. We had another daughter. They had another son. We have another. We have a son coming in June. And so family, we both work so much that it's like, okay.
It's a 90-hour work week.
When you're working a ton, all you can really do outside of work is family time.
Right.
So I wouldn't say I have like a huge social life. Everything I do is really either with my people I work with or my wife or my family.
Become family too.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like you're spending more time with them than you are almost your own family in a sense, like your extended family. So it's like everything all just blends together.
Yeah. 100%.
What do you guys have coming up that's exciting?
Coming up, that's exciting. Well, we just put on our first roof. Just a couple days ago before the snow came again.
Right. It needs to just stay away.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we're all excited. Obviously, any Minnesotan is, you get to January. The holidays are fun, and then you get to January, and you're like,
I'm over it.
Okay, I'm over it. And then you're like February. You're like, okay, thank God it's a short month, but still, it's cold. And then you get to March, and you get these little glimmers of sun and warm days, and then it's snow. But no, I'm just, I mean, the exciting things is we put on our first roof. That's obviously huge.
Yes.
We're brand new. We got, I think, 3 jobs signed up. We're going to do another small job on Friday. But just getting out and actually, doing the things that generate leads, like doing that door knocking.
For sure.
It's not everyone's favorite, and, a lot of homeowners are sick of it, but I've always enjoyed it, and I think if you come with the right mentality that you're actually out there trying to help people and not you're just some
you're local too. I mean, it's not like
person.
You're coming in from New York or New Jersey. I'm just hopping in, chasing the storms, doing the storm chasing kind of thing too.
I know how to say Shakopee and Edina, and so I passed the the Minnesota test on those things.
Right. And when you have a family here too, I mean, that's the other difference. It's not like I'm just one of those one-ups that are just starting something and going to pass it on and be done with it and on to the next.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we got that's what I love about my brother-in-law, Jamie Molitor, being part of this. So he's going to be our production manager.
Yep.
So super excited about that, because now Jamie brings this level of he's been building stuff for the last 12 years. He's built houses, he's remodeled houses, and with roofing, obviously it's more of a simple thing, but you get all these things that can tie into the roofing, where people that do storm restoration are like, oh, that's too hard, I don't want to do that. Where Jamie, I love the fact that we can lean on him and say, hey, how do we do this? How do we do it right? So that way we don't lose the roof. So those types of things I'm super pumped about.
Which is exciting. I mean, there's a lot that people don't know when it gets into the roofing and into everything on the roof, especially when storms come up. Hey, my shingles could be tore up here, they might not be there, or it could be something that happened a long time ago, or people, when they lay the roof, they're not laying it the right way, and they get water leaking and everything like that.
100%.
Yeah. Tell a little bit about your guys' process and how you have it set for going forward.
Yeah, so I mean, process is, everything always just starts with an inspection. So we always say, free inspection, generally in the spring is a great time to do that. Hopefully you haven't had any issues over the winter. But even if you did have issues over the winter, a lot of people don't find out about it until the spring.
Unless it's an ice dam or something like that.
Exactly. Unless you can visibly see it, or it's so bad that it actually broke through your sheetrock. But a lot of times these people have these freeze thaws, water's penetrated underneath the shingles, underneath underlayments, froze inside the attic, and now that all thaws out, and now you got water showing up. So we don't want to be helping. We would rather help people before that happens. And just keeping a check, looking at your roof every year type stuff. Or whatever, a small problem pops up, let's get out there, let's do the repair, let's fix it. So our process is a little different. We're not afraid to do repairs.
Correct.
So a lot of people, it's always been like full roof replacement, full roof replacement, wait for insurance, stuff like that, and that's just obviously created an issue with insurance. Insurance got sick of paying for roofs that maybe not all should have been paid for. And now we're in the situation where insurance rates have gone to the roof. Homeowners are sick of paying huge premiums. They're sick of now being backed off to these crappy ACV policies where not everything's covered when the roof is covered.
Well, and insurance is changing too. I mean, that's the big thing. Like changing. People don't understand that they need to stay on top of that as well.
Yeah, so we're just going to take a different approach, more of a laid-back approach, which is how I've always, sold my jobs, is relationship selling.
Absolutely.
Grow that relationship, and then when the problem arises, they know who to call. And then being open and honest with what actually needs to be done. If it can be a repair, great. If you can get the whole roof, fabulous.
Even better.
But not forcing these things and lying to people about, and just kind of being upfront. Like, hey, we can do this insurance claim, but there might be some risks with it. And that way, when it blows up and the risk actually happens and becomes true, they're not like,
you didn't tell me.
No, you lied to me, or you misled me. So just that, being open, honest, not super pushy with our sales tactics. But we're going to be loud, and we're going to be out there, and we're going to put ourselves out there on social media, and we're going to be running ads, and we're going to be, knocking doors. You have to be seen and heard,
and you have to be omnipresent.
Exactly. But I think if you do the right approach, that those things can all be, super positive.
What kind of roofing materials do you guys promote, or do you guys?
We can do any type of roofing. So whether it's residential, whether it's commercial, whether it's your standard asphalt architectural shingles, whether it's metal roofing. I've done several metal roofs. Whether it's outbuildings, whether it's actually on your own house, standing seam, with the hidden fasteners. Edco, the actual super fancy steel shingles. We can do those. We can do rubber roof membrane, the EPDM rubber roofing. We can do roll roofing. We can do, pretty much anything. I've done cedar shakes. I did a big cedar shake roof couple in 2022. The big mansion up on the hill on top of Lake Johanna. Did that cedar shake roof. Haven't done a slate tile, but our roofers can handle tile. But any type of roofing that you can imagine, we can put it on.
How do you guys relate, or what do you do when people have solar panels on the roofs, things like that?
Yeah, so solar panels, if it's an insurance claim, the insurance will pay for the detaching and resetting of the solar panels.
Yep.
If it's not an insurance claim, obviously that's going to be a cost that you have to get a licensed electrician. You got to get a solar company to actually detach and reset it to not eliminate the warranty.
Yeah.
The crazy thing about solar detach and resets is they are just as expensive as putting on the solar panels themselves, which is insane. And maybe
and a lot of those companies aren't even around anymore either. They're coming in and they're doing it and they're gone and they're done. Yeah.
So that's been a thing in itself, but being able to do that legwork on the front end before anybody signs anything to say, hey, this is the true cost that's going to go into this. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Because those are things that have to be done the right way. And obviously these solar panels are great and they're saving people money. I know, a lot of those some of the savings have went away, but they're still eliminating, the bills. They're just not getting those tax breaks, I believe. But solar panels are there. People are big on renewable energy and that's good. But obviously it comes at a cost when having to work around these, because these are all penetrations into the roof that have to be done
holes
properly,
are there, they have to be filled right.
There's holes in the shingles that get blasted through, and there's got to be, when you replace them, you got to do it right and remove them and do it all over again. So and that costs
people
money.
Don't understand that whole process either. They're like, oh, I have solar panels, but I just need to get this one little area that's leaking. Well, where's the leak coming from first, and let's figure all that out. So
well, we've even had people call back because they're like, hey, no, I got water pouring into my kitchen vent. So we go out there and we look at the kitchen vent and we do a water test, and you run water on this solar panel, and the solar panel was just feeding the water straight into the kitchen vent. So then, and we didn't even charge for this. This is the previous company. This is the type of service that they did, and this is what we will do as well. We did that whole roof.
Amazing.
And we could have charged them to come out. They had the solar company come out, detach the solar panel. We moved the kitchen vent, got it away so the water wasn't funneling in, fixed the problem, put the shingles back together, and solar company obviously, reset it. But, that could have, cost $1,000 to do. And it was just a service to our client who's, been good to us and referred us a ton of work. So we're going to take care of our clients.
Absolutely.
We intend to do the same thing.
Well, and a lot of times the roof vents that people put on and do aren't always done the correct way either. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've seen, oh my God. So obviously with free roof inspections, I've probably done personally, as a salesperson, 500 projects.
Right.
But I've looked at probably 5,000 roofs
in
those 5 years. So and you would be shocked at some of the repairs you see.
Get in and throw them up and be done with them.
You'll get up on a roof and there's a turtle vent, which is like an exhaust vent where a kitchen vent should be. There's standard shingles that are just cut to a random size and put over the ridge, which runs at the peak, and those should be their own type of ridge shingles or hip shingles. And oh my God, just the types of things you'll see installed on a roof.
Well, people think nobody's going to get up there and see it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Let's just fly in and get it done and do it any way we can just to slap it out and be on to the next.
And it's great for us to see those things so we can take pictures and be like, hey, this is why you don't go with the lowest bid.
Before and after, right? Let's compare apples to apples now, right?
They're like, because that's what some people always say is like, you could get 10 roofing bids, and if it's, the average bid is $15,000, you'll see $8,000 bids. You'll see $25,000 bids. Most of them will be in the middle. 14 to 17,000, and they're like, why on earth is there such a big difference? It's like, well, there's super bougie companies, and then there's ones that steal shingles in the middle of the night in Minneapolis, and will put on the roof for pennies on the dollar.
Because they just want to.
And they're not licensed, bonded, insured. If anything goes wrong, you can't get the state of Minnesota to support you on anything. You're out of luck because they're not registered.
Well, the other thing people don't understand is your name is who you are. So you're not also getting the roofing, but you're getting me as a person. So you can have my customer service. You can have who we are. You can have the name to stand behind. I'm not going anywhere. I've got a family here. I'm local. All the other customer service type things that come along with it. So when people say, hey, you're not the lowest, no, we're never going to be the lowest. Don't want to be the lowest.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We are who we are, and we're going to stand behind it,
And this other builder I know from Chicago, she would always say, the price is going to end up at the same eventually.
Yes.
It's just some people are honest about how much something's going to cost.
Or you're going to come back
and other people are
to
just going to change order you to death, or you're going to pay for it in the end on repairs or having to redo a section of the roof because it wasn't done right.
Yep. And you'd rather have someone that's going to come up and be honest and upfront in the beginning and be like, hey, this is how it is. I'm sorry, but you might need to get a whole new roof instead of just, we can't quite patch it because of the way it was laid the first time. You know, it's not just a simple patch because of the way it's all spread out. But
Oh yeah, we got metal roof in New Richmond that we just looked at the other day, and
not touching
they're like, hey, can we do a repair? And I'm like, it was just laid, the metal roof was just laid over shingles.
Oh, good Lord.
Which was laid over who knows what. Now everything just, kind all the ridges just ripped off with some wind because, you know, there probably wasn't big enough screws holding things in. And it's just, so it's, not everything is done right. And typically when it was, someone took the lowest bid or someone did it themselves.
They're just going to come and slap it on top and be done with it. Or they had their family members do it, or whomever they know in the church or whatever else it is. Yeah. It's an interesting world when everybody always says, hey, you know, I want to compare and find out why I didn't get the bid. Let's sit down and actually talk and see either we're missing something or we're just not going to be that number. How have you guys overcome, or have you gotten to the point where you have processes set so you can start now duplicating and growing your area a little bit, or are you still staying on the 5 mile?
Yeah, no. So, I mean, one thing we're doing, like, we have like a lot of like exact match domains for different neighborhoods, stuff that I bought kind of last year, stuff Tim bought as well. And so we're like taking our website and kind of templating the website.
Nice.
So it has the same feel and all that, and putting those at these exact match domains. So that's one way that we're kind of expanding out a little bit. We have a lot of cool, you know, partners that, like, Bid Mailer is another one that has been great. So Bid Mailers is a service where, you know, you can go and you see a roof is old, you can drop a pin on it. In about 3 weeks, they'll receive an actual bid in the mail with a street view of their house.
Amazing.
Saying, you know, estimate inside. So just, that's one way to take a different approach. Last year, we did have some hail at the end of the year in Woodbury and Minnetonka. So, you know, we're going to be focusing on those areas as well.
Right.
So we're not just doing the 5 mile, you know, famous, but on top of that, we're going to, you know, go to that needed. Woodbury. Like Minnetonka has been completely bludgeoned to death as far as people trying to, you know, get in there. So maybe take a softer approach there, less door knocking, more dropping bid mailers on anything that hasn't been replaced yet. You know, stuff like that. Well,
there's a lot of area in our neck of the woods that are growing. I mean, look at Blaine that has houses that have been around for a long time, and all the areas that are growing there. And you just have Maple Grove, and you have so many like little North Metro places that are going to be bigger and better than some of those places too. So
and then also leaning on the construction connections I have. You know, all these builders that put on houses, those houses need roofs, those houses need exteriors. So we got some new construction opportunities. A lot of roofers aren't huge on new construction because it's not as good at margins, but you know, if you can build them in-house, you know, you don't have that sales rep that you're paying a big commission on, you can still get some decent jobs with some decent margins that can feed the company.
Well, and a lot of it's, I mean, the real estate market, getting in with people that are realtors and helping out, and it's who's buying, who's selling, or, okay, you're going to be building a new house. What about your old house to get it ready for inspection, all that kind of stuff too. So it's all kind of word of mouth, and the construction world is pretty small when you really think about it as a whole. Oh yeah,
realtors are absolutely dynamite with roofing. Like you said, they, you know, a good realtor can see, you know, they show hundreds of houses a year.
Absolutely.
Those hundreds of houses all have roofs. And especially with insurance, like we said, insurance getting kind of funky. Anything over 10, 15 years of age, the roof, people are having problems get that insured. So what that opportunity brings is, you're having a problem getting insured, let us come in, we'll put a bid on it. You can ask maybe for a little discount on the sale of the house. And then, you know,
because it has to pass an inspection at the end of the day. So either you're going to redo it all, or we can patch it and make it work for you. If it's feasible, if it's not, then let's work
But also
together.
Working with those partners, and you know, sometimes these house inspectors are flagging stuff that maybe shouldn't be flagged.
Right.
So we're also fine with going out there and saying, this is a 12-year-old roof.
Let's meet together.
It is in great condition.
Right. Yeah.
Like it doesn't need to be replaced.
It's withstand a lot, and it's not leaking, and what you're seeing isn't quite what it is.
Yeah.
So let's have this conversation.
Or if there is a little repair, then okay, let's do the little repair, and now it can pass inspection. So yeah, we love working with realtors. In that aspect. And we got a couple of great local ones too.
How many realtors are you working with, and how can realtors get a hold of you to do all that?
Yeah, 100%. So would love, so the big four, so I've had four that have fed me over the years. Jason Schmidt with Edina Realty, Christine Westland from Edina Realty, Jake Perpich with Compass, and then Steve Fiorella with Fiorella Group down in Lakeville. So like these four have been absolutely amazing for me, and the beautiful part is my service alone is enough for them to refer me work.
Absolutely.
So I don't have to refer all four of them houses constantly. But because they love that I can make them look good. When something gets flagged and maybe it shouldn't have been flagged, I can come out, I can take pictures. I'm a roofing pro. This roof is fine. If they want to be super nitpicky, these couple things can be done. They can be done for $250. Or, if something is an issue, like sometimes a realtor will, like the other person discloses that, we had a roof paid for by hail 5 years ago and we didn't replace it. That's obviously a problem. And then I come out and I look, there's hail damage all over. Okay, give me a bid, replace it. Boom. And then the thing too is we can build them fast. So if a deal does come through, like literally, I always say we can build it tomorrow if that's what has to happen. Because that keeps people on track for closing. Nobody wants to move a closing date. Nobody wants to change everything with the title company.
Say yes now and figure out how to do it behind the scenes.
And then we do the roof. It closes on time. The title company, the money goes into escrow. Title company kicks out a check to us the day of the sale, and everyone's happy. So if anyone, they can just find us on social media, allroofing.com. You can fill out a lead form on our website. You can, reach out to me personally.
What about some of the waterproofing spray-on companies that are out there? Are you guys getting into any of that, or are you seeing a lot more of that?
So we're not going to get into that right away. I mean, I think those things are great. These rejuvenation things for roofs. I mean, anything that is more cost effective, and like I'm not going to hate on that. And maybe we'll eventually get into it. Same thing with decks. Maybe we'll eventually have a deck division. Right now, we're just focusing on what we know and what we can do best. Baby steps. You don't want to do everything because then you're not good at anything. So let's dial in like the processes you're talking about. Let's dial in those processes, and then we can expand from there and do the different stuff. But
exciting. So you guys have some fun things coming up. You've got a lot in the mix right now. What's the best way for? I mean, you've given your website, you found it on social medias, things like that. What are some other ways people can get a hold of you, or where can they see you at?
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Website, Google obviously is a big one. Google business profile, you can reach out. I mean that's pretty much it. Socials.
What would be some advice if you could give to our listeners about either going into business or just some advice in general that you'd give to them?
Yeah, so advice to listeners would be get a good partner. Because when you're starting a business, you have no idea what you're actually getting into if you've never started a business before. So, Tim partnered with me because I'm a good sales guy, so I sold him on that fact. Also just good with people in general, and know a lot about the roofing company about the roofing business. I've been successful in the roofing business, and Tim's a marketing guy and he's a business development guy. Jamie's a builder. He's a production guy.
Absolutely.
Our guy Pedro, who's another partner, he speaks Spanish, he speaks English, he knows crews, so he's going to be running the crews. So getting the mix of, so you fill all the gaps. You don't need to get 12 partners. You don't even need to get 4. You can get 2,
but you don't want to wear too many hats either. You want to start being able to delegate some of those things out too.
I think, but it's also, you're married to these people.
Oh, absolutely.
And you're living with these people now.
Your business is their business.
All day.
Let's all do it together.
So, exactly. So, obviously being smart about who you pick and making sure you like these people, because you're going to be, family with them. But also just just leaning and allowing them to do what they're good at, and them allowing you to do what you're good at. So that way everyone kind of stays in their lanes and we work together cohesively. So it's like, yeah, picking good partners in my case,
yes,
has been, it's one of those things every day I'm like, damn, I'm lucky.
I'm lucky. How did I get here? And
let's figure it out and
keep going forward. And
yep,
they were going to be lucky too. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Exciting. Well, I appreciate you coming on today. If there's anything we can do to help get the word out, again, what's your website and where can they find you?
Yeah. So allroofing.com, or you can just call us at 651-977-6027. We'd love to help.
Thank you so much for being on.
Thank you.
Keep shining light.